It reflected a farm system rich with talented and potential impact players at the major league level, who could also be traded for experienced impact players. A good trade is a good trade for both teams, as the old saying goes in baseball. This was a good trade for both teams, but especially the Blue Jays, as the next 3 years would attest. On the day the trade was announced, Carter was playing golf in San Diego. When he reached the clubhouse, one of the attendants saw his bag with his name on it. "Are you Joe Carter with the Padres?" "Yes, I am," Joe smiled. "Not anymore," the kid responded. "You have just been traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. I heard it on the radio a few minutes ago." 2 days earlier, Gillick had traded Junior Felix and Luis Sojo to the Angels for Devon White, a young and graceful center fielder who had fallen out of favor in Anaheim. At the end of that first week in December, the Blue Jays signed a veteran free agent who was not only a role model in the clubhouse and on the field, but also a key contributor over the next 2 years. That was Pat Tabler, who retired at the end of the 1992 season with a coveted World Series ring richly deserved. It was amazing what had happened in 1 week in the offseason that brought so much ability and talent to the city of Toronto. The impact was felt immediately. Hosting the All-Star Game. Fans were treated to an exciting 1991 season as the team went 91-71 to win the American League Eastern Division convincingly, 7 games over the Boston Red Sox. In addition, the Blue Jays not only led the major leagues in attendance, but became the first team in history to draw 4 million fans. 4,001,527 to be exact. The team would draw 4 million fans for 3 straight years. Toronto hosted the 1991 All-Star Game, which always includes the Home Run Derby the day before. On that day, in the brilliant Toronto sunshine, 50,000 fans were all wearing colorful Gatorade hats. Your favorite flavored sherbet was on display everywhere. It was spectacular to see, but the Home Run Derby was even more spectacular. The Orioles' Cal Ripken stood at home plate and had the crowd applauding with each of his swings. He launched one home run after another and sat down to a thunderous ovation after hitting his 15th home run and taking a commanding lead. It appeared as if Cal had stolen the show. Cecil Fielder came out of the third base dugout representing the Detroit Tigers. The former Blue Jay stepped in and promptly fouled off a couple of pitches with big swings, almost falling down as a result. His teammates roared with laughter. And then Big Cecil did something that had never happened at the new Sky Dome. He smashed a high, majestic drive to straightaway center field. The ball sailed over everything and landed in the Sightlines restaurant. The crowd looked on in disbelief. Then, realizing they had just seen a first, roared. Cecil smiled and looked back at his teammates, who looked on in stunned disbelief too. He wasn't finished. 3 pitches later, Big Daddy did it again, dropping another baseball into the exact same place where people were both watching and eating. There was a very appropriate headline in the newspaper the next day: "There's a fly in my soup." Now, when the broadly smiling Fielder looked back, there was Kirby Puckett and many others on their knees bowing to him in front of the dugout. Cal Ripken may have won the Home Run Derby that day, but it was Cecil Fielder who won the hearts of the fans and the heart of the man who first brought Cecil to Toronto. Sitting in the press box, I looked back at Pat Gillick, who was very emotional. As he watched Cecil and heard the crowd's reaction, I could see Pat's eyes welling up. That's who Pat is. He had seen something that nobody else saw in this 18-year-old kid in the Royals organization back in 1982. 9 years later, here he was, crying tears of joy for someone who had turned into one of the most feared hitters in the game. The Home Run Derby added an exclamation point. It would take a number of years after Cecil's All-Star Home Run Derby feat